Hi Erika, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. Erika is joining us from Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Erika is a self-taught home baker and she has created her own small startup called Irresistible. Erika, welcome to Enterprising Youngsters.
Thank you so much.
So Erika, do you want to tell our viewers a little bit about what is Irresistible?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Erica. I'm the founder of Irresistible. So I'm a self-taught home baker. Food has always been very close to me. And I finally decided this year, in fact, just last month, finally take the plunge, and, finally do what I like doing the best, and I'm most passionate about is baking. So I finally decided to do that in a small way, and then let's see where it goes.
So Erika, tell us, how did you start your brand?
So basically, my mother has been a very big inspiration for me in my life. She was a fabulous cook and baker. So growing up, she, at home we would always have these elaborate meals, wonderful desserts for, get-togethers or whatever. And I don't remember any time where we've ordered something from outside, especially for cakes or birthdays, occasions, anything in the family. My mom made it. And it's a funny turn of events because I remember growing up, I hated entering the kitchen for anything. I mean, that was the last place I would ever want to be, was the kitchen.
Okay.
And it wasn't until I was in college, maybe first year or second year, where it was just randomly one day I was cleaning out one of my mother's closets, and I found like a stack of books and magazines and all sorts of books, that she had collected over the years. And they were all, of course, all food books, food related recipes and things like that. And I came across a small piece of paper, like a flimsy piece of paper, where she had handwritten a recipe, of a chocolate cake, a very simple, basic chocolate cake. And my mother never wrote down any recipes. Till date, I have no recipes, written, or where she's kept, notes of them or anything. So I think because that was the only one thing that I found, so that was like, I was instantly attracted to it, so I kept that recipe. And then the next day itself, I remember I went out, got all the ingredients, whatever was needed. And I didn't even know what I was doing, because I remember it said 1 cup sugar. And I didn't know what 1 cup sugar meant. I remember calling up my grandmother and I was like, she's written 1 cup sugar. What does that mean? Am I supposed to take a coffee mug or what is it? But anyways, I managed to do it slowly. I put everything together and I did it, and it turned out pretty well. I thought it would be a complete disaster, but it actually turned out pretty well. And instinctively, the first thing that I did was I took it over to my grandparents' house, and I told them, why don't you taste it and let me know? And I remember my grandmother, after tasting it, she was like, she said something to me and she was like, oh, you seem to have your mother's talent in you. So that sentence that she said sort of resonated with me a lot. So, that gave me that push. And for some reason, after that day onwards, every day I would, do a lot of research online. I went and bought a lot of books on baking and cooking, and I think ever since that day, it's just been, trials and errors in the kitchen and, experimenting with different flavors and desserts and things like that. So that is how basically my journey into food started.
Okay. So tell us, how did you come up with the name? It is a very interesting name. So how did you come up with it?
So when I was thinking of names, I wanted something very short and sweet. I didn't want it to be very long or anything like that, And I think the name is very explanatory. I mean, it is just irresistible. And I think for desserts, I wanted to concentrate, have a name, something more towards desserts and baking, rather than food or anything apart, or any savory item. I wanted it to be specific to sweet. So that's how I thought of irresistible, and sometimes people ask me, like, do you pronounce it differently because it's an E, instead of an I? And I was like, no, it's pronounced the same. It's just because my name starts with E, so I wanted to have fun with it, so I decided to add the E.
That's very
yeah. So that's exactly how I thought of the name. And yeah, and when it comes to irresistible as a business, I mean, not even as a business, as a venture, it all started off with, I had a page on Instagram, which I made, I think 3 years ago, and I named it Irresistible. And it was just supposed to be just a fun page, where I could share my creativity, whatever I made in the kitchen, I would just post it, and it was only meant for that, and just to connect with people, in the food industry or anyone like-minded, who like to bake and things like that. And slowly, when that took off, friends started following the page, family members started seeing, the pictures that I posted, and then that's when they started calling me and saying, hey, we have a get together today, or this Saturday we're having a few friends over or something. Can you make us this? I mean, instead of us ordering it from somewhere, we would really love to if you made it. Everything looks so great on your page. So that helped me a lot, because over the years, it gave me that confidence that I needed. I could just try and experiment, with different flavors or whatever. If I felt like it, I would just make it, and I would ask them that I'm in the mood to make this today. Would you mind? And they would be like, please go ahead. And so that gave me a lot of confidence. And it wasn't, like I mentioned, wasn't until the lockdown, which was from March and April, was when I actually thought about it, and I said, like, there's no harm in giving it a try once, and seeing where it goes. It start off small, and then we'll see where it goes. So
so we will call it Fun Irresistible. I think that's because it started as fun, but you converted it into a startup, so that's fantastic. So Erica, what are the challenges you faced? I know that you started small, but I'm sure that every small startup also has their own set of challenges which you faced recently. And how did you overcome it?
True. So in terms of challenges, I think I would like to start with actually the whole pandemic that happened in March. When that happened with the lockdown and all, I think it was hard for everyone, worldwide. I think everyone was, especially the first 2 weeks, everyone was super stressed because no one knew what was happening. Everyone was fearful for their loved ones, even to step out of the house for even the most basic necessities, And I think that is when everyone around the world started finding comfort in food. Because everyone started going to their kitchen, experimenting, because nobody had so much time, on their hands before this. It gave them like almost a month of absolutely doing nothing. So then all those years, everyone, whatever they wanted to do, they were bringing out their creativity in the kitchen. Like, I'm sure you must have seen so many people, just in the kitchen, making different things. And it was that time, I remember, we're very close family members, very close friends, would message me and say like, hey, we're really craving to eat this today, like it would be some dessert or something, and would you please make it for us, because everything was shut at that time, there were no bakery, there was nothing,
Right.
So they were like, so this dessert, can you make it? And at that time I felt really bad because I had to say no, unfortunately, because I had no baking supplies with me, at the time. So even good quality chocolate, cream cheese, you name it, I had nothing on hand. And because it was the lockdown, and I couldn't go out to get supplies. So during the lockdown, every day I would wake up feeling very, sad that I had so much time on my hands, and yet I couldn't do what I wanted to do the most. You just get up, be productive, make something, experiment with different things, And then of course came May, the month of May, when I think they started lifting the lockdown a little bit, a few restrictions, but shops started to open up and all. And I was very, very excited that day. I still remember that's very specific. I had a list of things that I had to do. I had to go run errands and, buy stuff. I had a whole list of things. And that same very day, I fell and I broke my ankle, So that was tough. That was followed by almost 2 months of bed rest, So those initial days were, I would say, a little depressing, very demotivating, because I wanted to do so much, and I was just stuck on the bed. But now looking back, I think that time was very crucial, because I learned a lot in that time. I learned a lot of different techniques. I learned how to price my products. Like if I were to open something, how to price things, that was essential. I learned that. And also it gave me time to finally sit and compile all my recipes, put them together, what all the recipes that I tried and tested over the years, which I knew were hits. I never written them down. Everything was from my mind. So everything, I sat down with my laptop and I made a list of those recipes, that if I ever were to start this venture, what I would put up, what I would have on my menu and all. So yeah, and then at the end of I got better. And then the first thing that I did, I think it was around Raksha Bandhan. It was a weekend of Raksha Bandhan, and that's when I finally decided I'm gonna do it. Like, now enough is enough. I'm just gonna put it out there, and then we'll see. And then I got a good response, so that was nice. I mean, that was a good feeling because I was very motivated after that.
Yeah. So I think this is a story a lot of women from around the world, young girls around the world
True.
would like to hear, for the simple reason that skill building during the pandemic, when you're not able to do something, you work on your business models and you work how you want to go forward, is very essential to stay calm and mentally stay healthy. Okay, so Erica, the very important question now, since you already started Irresistible, where do you see yourself in another 5 years?
So every time I get asked this question, I'm not someone who makes a lot of 5-year plans or 10-year plans, because I feel, every day is a new day. You have no idea what, that day brings for you. So, I would love to have plans, but like I said, my future, I wouldn't call it a 5-year plan, but my future plan would be, so right now, it's a very small venture, so I cannot rather cater to a lot of orders in a day or rather in a week. I have a very set limited amount of orders that I can take. That's also because I do every single thing myself, from the smallest thing of chopping, let's say the chocolate or the fruits, to decorating the final product. Everything I do myself. So I can't, keep up with that pace. So hopefully I would see myself in the future, maybe, taking up larger quantity of orders. So I'm keen on doing that, maybe getting a little more help involved and taking, because I hate saying no. Sometimes I've had a few people in this last 1 month, after the Raksha Bandhan thing, and they were like, oh, we want, a certain amount of these dishes on this day. And I've actually had to say no, because I know that, I'm not capable of, keeping up with that large quantity. So yeah, those are my future plans, that I would definitely want to, be able to take up larger quantity of orders.
Yeah, scale up. So I want to tell you something very interesting. I did one interview with Richa Gupta. She is a food blogger. And, she told me something very interesting, which, I have learned that from her, that ask for help. It is okay to ask for help when you're scaling up, because you will never be able to do everything yourself when you scale up.
I know. I think so that also comes from, I'm, like I said, like, everything has to be the way I want it to be, so that is somewhere is also hindering me. And I'm realizing it right now, because even at home, everyone at home is always willing to help. They're all like, you're on your feet since in the morning, like, why can't we help you? Why can't we do this? And I'm always like, no, I'm going to do it myself. I need to do this myself, because I want control over everything, because I want things done a certain way and they have to go out in a certain way. But I do understand that in time you can't always be like that. You have to delegate, a few things here and there.
Eventually, I think you will get there.
Yeah.
So, Erica, last question: what motivates you to do this?
I think this is the toughest question, to answer if anyone asks what motivates me. But I would definitely say I'm very passionate about my work, in whatever I do. And also I have a healthy sense of competition with myself, and thirdly, a hint of self-criticism actually, because whatever I make, I always tend to find flaws. There has not been a day where I've made something and I'm completely satisfied, everything I tend to find flaws. I'm like, oh, the texture is off, or the taste is off. No, this flavor does not, blend well with this flavor, or even the presentation. No, I can do much better, So yeah, so that keeps me motivated a lot in terms of the next time I make the same thing, I'm always, I always try, like, okay, I don't want to repeat the same thing I did last time. So let me constantly keep trying till I'm completely, confident. So that motivates me a lot. And lastly, of course, my wonderful family and friends, which have been so encouraging and so supportive from day one, in everything I do. Like, it's, they've always been super encouraging, and they've been telling me since years, you should this is the one thing that you should concentrate on, and go ahead, move ahead. So yeah, that all those things combined are very motivating to me.
Yeah, I think you will get there, and I think life is a learning process. So I think even 5 years down the line, you will still feel that I need to improve this, and that keeps you going. I think that's a great idea. Yeah. So Erica, I am so thankful to you for being on this platform. I know that girls around the world will be so motivated and inspired by what you've done and created your startup. I wish you best of luck in your new startup.
And thank you so much, and thank you so much for this opportunity. Really, I mean, I'm very, very grateful.
In fact, I had written something very recently. I was, creating some documents for myself for my new initiative, and that's when I wrote that when I started my YouTube channel, I always felt that my years of experience and what I have done, I would be able to impart to the younger generation. But in fact, I have learned so much during this process. I feel that it has been a great learning platform for me. If you're viewing this channel for the first time, we have wonderful girls like Erica on this platform all the time. So do subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much, Erica, for being here.
Thank you so much.